Hmm. So, yesterday, I've been sharing a practice in which I invited you to drop back into the body and deeply listen to what you might have been ignoring inside of you. That inner voice that can sometimes so easily hmm, get lost. And the simple reason for that is because we are living in a world where we constantly get stimulated. There's a constant noise that might be through the phone, through radio, through TV, through traffic, through advertisement, through lights, through whatsoever. We get constantly stimulated by something outside of us that we somehow forgot to listen to ourselves. And I'm not talking about the head, I'm not talking about this beautiful little voice that is so often conditioned by the environment, by the way you have been raised, by the people you grew up with. And we don't even realize that the life that we might live might not be even the life that we are here to live. And that is a hard truth to swallow. And I'm sharing this from experience. And then people start running around, living their life as if it is a to do list that they need to check. Sometimes not even knowing if this checklist is even theirs. And then they come to a point in their lives where they have been following that noise, where they regret that they haven't lived their life, that they haven't lived their truth. So, listening deeply, which in the beginning can be incredibly hard, confronting, scary, is coming back to yourself, is coming back to your truth, coming back to living your life. And for a lot of people, it is scary because walking your own path requires you to become intimate with yourself, to deeply listen, to feel yourself and sink below the surface of your mind back into your body, which most of us don't really feel safe in, which is why we are so disconnected from it, which is why we are living up here. But to truly, truly live your truth, live your life, you need to reconnect with who you are, not who they told you to be, or you might even tell yourself to be. I'm talking about who you are here to be at the core of your being. And for that, you need to walk yourself back to yourself. And the first thing that is required from you is to listen to yourself. I'm not talking about changing your whole life, quitting your job, and already following up with actions, making the huge steps, but to listen to yourself. Listen to the voice that you have been ignoring within yourself that tries to tell you something, that maybe tries to tell you that you're fucking exhausted and that you maybe should slow down a little bit, that maybe tries to tell you that the decision you're going to make is not honoring yourself. Whatever it might be. The truth isn't always comfortable, easy, sunshine, and rainbows. It can be incredibly confronting, but that's exactly where you meet yourself, face to face. And in the beginning, you have to face the things that you have been ignoring, not listening to, and pushing aside, trying to escape from your entire life. But only there you can actually pick yourself up because you have left yourself a really, really, really long time ago. And to listen to yourself means walking yourself all the way back to when you have left yourself. And unfortunately, that doesn't fit into our social narrative of being perfect. But being perfect doesn't honor, respect our humanness. And that is one of the deepest lessons that I've learned by listening to myself. And I'm not talking about the good parts, the parts that have it all figured out. I'm talking about the full range, welcoming all of me. The hurt little boy that hasn't felt loved when he was young, missed the presence of his father, was living with constant fear. Like just being there, listening, not hearing. I'm not talking about hearing, I'm talking about listening. Listening requires presence. And in this case, embodied presence. To stay in your body, to not check out, to not lose yourself and move back into your head. And that will happen. But to actually drop below the surface of your mind, drop deeper into your breath, learn how to stay regulated, and then welcome yourself. Welcome those parts and just be there with yourself. And what happens in this process is that this noise that we're so used to, addicted to, it starts to move more and more into the background. And gently, through compassion, love, discipline, consistency, by revisiting yourself, checking out, and then bringing yourself back in. What will happen is what might be confronting in the beginning, what might feel unnatural in the beginning, to just stay present, be yourself, becomes the norm. It becomes your life. So to listen deeply means to just reconnect with yourself, to build an intimate relationship with who you are underneath all the versions that you think you need to be, where your true authenticity can actually shine through. Hmm. The analogy, the picture that I have in my head right now is you become this harbor, this safe harbor where all parts of you can finally arrive. And then what happens through that is that you become a harbor for others. Now your presence, your embodiment, your breath, your regulated nervous system is in service to the people around you. So the reason I wanted to share all of this is because I invite you to listen more. Be courageous, listen more to yourself. And start with listening. And some of the things that you might hear that might come up to the surface, be with them, as confronting as they might be. And then just ask yourself, what does this part of me that is talking to me right now, that I'm listening to, what does it need? And then see how you can follow up on that need with an action that you can implement into your daily routine, into your week, your month, whatever it might be. And because you start relating differently to yourself, you will start to relate differently to life. And that's when your reality starts to shift in a way where you stop living from the outside in, running after all those things outside of you, thinking that they would bring you the freedom, the fulfillment, the safety, the love that you might project onto the partner, the work, the project, the clients, the friends. Now, because you start living from the inside out, you start to become a magnet that attracts all of that. And then life doesn't become a chase anymore. Now it becomes something where you are so anchored and grounded within yourself, connected to your truth, connected to yourself, able to deeply listen to that inner voice, not that outer voice, that inner voice, that you do not just find your purpose, but your path will naturally reveal itself to you because you're tuned to life and the life force, the life's intelligence that runs through you. And instead of just following up on what other people might tell you, society tell you, your conditioning tells you, you now start to live from your deepest truth. And it requires you, it requires a lot from you. It requires a commitment to stay true to yourself. And that's when you start to attract everything that you embody on the inside. And then it's not even a surprise anymore. At one stage, it becomes almost obvious that certain things will happen in your life because you have already been living those external experiences within yourself. And through that, you become home. You become home for yourself. You become home for the people around you. You become home for the community that you're living in, the people that you serve, your environment, random people on the street. You become like a big oak tree under which people can rest. Rest from trying to live up to a version of themselves that they have been told they need to fulfill. And through your authenticity, you give people permission to be themselves. And it all starts with listening, slowing down, coming back to your breath, dropping below the surface of the mind back into your body to cultivate a safety that allows you to just be with yourself and stop running away from yourself. And the moment you stop running away from yourself, trying to escape from yourself, what will naturally happen is that you come back home to yourself. You arrive. And that's when the chase starts to stop. Because you realize you are the answer, the purpose, and the way. It is right here. So, my invitation again, listen. Listen deeply. And for all the men who would love to dive deeper into the practice of listening, dropping back into the body, reconnecting with the breath, and cultivating a strong container that can hold the parts of them that they might have pushed away for a really long time. I have a bi-weekly online man circle that I'm offering, in which we dive into deep embodiment practices that allow you to listen and then follow up with actions. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. I hope that some of my words landed, and I see you for the next movie. I wanted to say movie, but it's like going to be a movie, but for the next video.